Somewhere in a forest, a knight in luxurious armor wakes up confused. He remembers falling asleep while playing a video game the night before and has now woken up looking like his character from the game. Deciding to test out his abilities, he realizes he can perform all the attacks and magic spells his game character could, only they're even more powerful now. He can even use some skills he couldn't use in the game. Getting hungry, he notices he has no money or food and decides to travel to a town, using a short-range teleportation spell. Seeing his reflection in a river, he realizes he looks like a skeleton because he chose the skeleton avatar while playing the game. Because every human would think he is a monster, he decides to hide his face at all times and draw as little attention to himself as possible. Arriving at a town called Luverd, he walks around, realizing he needs to find a job. Entering a back alley, he overhears a pink-haired elf woman arguing with someone. Getting excited over seeing a real elf, he tries to approach her but loses her in the crowd. Entering a mercenary guild, the knight asks the guild master for a mercenary license. In order to avoid suspicion, the knight starts acting the way he looks, like a noble paladin, and convinces the guild master he needs the license despite looking rich. To get the license, he needs to hunt 3 creatures: bandits, beasts, or monsters. Later in a forest somewhere, the knight defeats 2 boars when an orc attacks him. Getting excited seeing his first orc, the knight cuts him in half with one slash of his sword. Later, while traveling back to town, the knight comes across a band of robbers who attacked a coach. Having killed all the guards, the bandits prepare to attack the 2 women who are left. Hidden in the bushes, the knight is reluctant to help, unsure he can take on so many people at once. Finally, he makes his mind up and appears amid the bandits, killing 3 of them in one slash. The rest try running away, but with a flying sword slash, the knight defeats them too. Grateful for saving them, the women introduce themselves as Lauren, a royal from the Luverd family, and her attendant Rita. When the 2 of them aren't looking, the knight takes the bandits' loot. While they're going back together, the knight introduces himself as Ark. Even though he doesn't tell anyone, he remembers the backstory for his game character. His character was a cursed knight who was traveling across the land to find a way to cure himself. Back in town, Ark gets his mercenary license, showing the guild master the boars and orc he killed. Happily settling into a room in an inn, Ark orders a whole feast for himself and enjoys it wholeheartedly. He concludes this isn't just a game but real life and looks forward to his future quests, laughing loudly. One day, Ark responds to a request to help a girl pick some medicinal herbs. Because he doesn't want to draw too much attention to him, he decided to only take low-profile jobs like that. Entering a peaceful village, he meets the girl called Marka. At first, she is afraid by Ark's formidable appearance, but quickly warms up to him. While they're walking through the forest, Marka tells Ark her mother is working hard every day to pick medicinal herbs and now she wants to help her by doing it herself. While they're traveling, Ark senses a creature watching them, but it turns out it's just a small green fox with many tails. Noticing it's hurt, Ark heals it with a spell. Fully recovered, the fox doesn't want to leave Ark and he takes it with him, naming it Ponta. Reaching a clearing, Ark and Marka find the plant they were looking for. Suddenly, a gigantic dragon-like monster appears behind Marka. Before it can attack her, Ark rescues her and confronts the monster. Dodging its poisonous breath, Ark realizes he is fighting a giant basilisk, a very dangerous high-level monster. The basilisk attacks him, but Ark manages to stand his ground against it, dodging and blocking its sharp claws and long tongue. Continuing to block the basilisk's attacks, Ark summons a gigantic sword of light underneath it and kills it in one hit, surprised at his own power. After the fight, Ark asks Marka not to tell the villagers he killed the basilisk so he doesn't stand out. He also notices a strange ring around the basilisk's leg, but it disappears before he can examine it. When they return to the village, Marka reunites with her mother, who was worried but is glad nothing happened to her daughter. At sunset, Ark and Marka say their farewells and Marka's little sister gives Ark a flower crown. That night, somewhere else, a squad of knights fights and barely manages to defeat another giant basilisk. They have found the corpse of the basilisk Ark killed and are impressed when they notice it has been killed in one hit. Back at the inn, Ark and Pana enjoy their dinner. Thinking about Marka's gratitude, Ark decides to take more challenging quests in the future and help more people. One night, Ark is chasing down some bandits in a cave. Some time has passed and Ark has gotten used to doing quests. After defeating the bandits, he finds chests full of gold and 2 empty cages. In a royal palace, an attendant is reporting to a short, fat man called Triton, the lord of the town of Diento. It turns out Triton sent the bandits to assassinate Lauren and the basilisks who attacked the area around Luverd, so he is outraged because both his plans failed. He was secretly employed by a man called Dukhars, one of the princes of Rodan Kingdom. Dakars wants to take over Louvert because it is strategically important for attacking the Western Kingdom. Triton is also managing an illegal elf slave trade, and his son, Eudalan, is currently escorting the slaves. Back at the cave, Ark is ambushed by a hooded woman. She attacks him fiercely, but he manages defending against her. As her hood falls down, he recognizes she is the pink-haired elf he saw in town in the past. The elf is convinced Ark is one of the bandits who kidnapped the elven children she came to rescue. However, when she sees Ponta, she stops attacking. She recognizes Ponta as a spirit creature, and those creatures would never accompany a bad person. Realizing Ark isn't a bandit, she apologizes to him and tells him she came here to save the elves who were kidnapped and sold into slavery. Ark tells her he saw empty cages in the cave and proposes to help her find the elves, but she refuses, saying it's an issue that the elves have to deal with themselves. Before Ark can say anything else, she leaves. Later at the inn, Ark decides to try finding the pink-haired elf again, since she is the first elf he has ever met. The next day, Ark teleports around trying to find the elf woman. He explores the elf forest when Pawnee hears something. Nearby, a group of elf hunters capture a runaway elf slave. They take her back to her camp, where there are 3 more elves in a cage. Eudalan, who is Triton's son, cruelly threatens the runaway elf. Ark sees all this hidden in the bushes, but before he can do anything, the pink-haired elf appears and attacks the elf hunters. Several hunters attack the pink-haired elf, but she defeats them all with no issues. Suddenly, Eudalan takes the 4 captured elves as hostages, telling the pink-haired elf to stop attacking. Seeing she is in trouble, Ark comes out of the bushes and knocks Eudalan out, allowing the pink-haired elf to finish her fight. Afterwards, they notice the captured elves have mana-eating collars that drain their magic power. The pink-haired elf can't remove them, but Ark undoes them with no problem and heals all the elves' injuries. A couple of hooded elves arrive and recover the captured elves, who thank Ark before leaving. The pink-haired elf introduces herself as Arian and tells Ark she has never met a kind and powerful human like him. Convinced she can trust him, Arian wants to hire Ark as a mercenary, and he accepts. The 2 of them travel to the town of Diento, where they meet with Danko, one of Arian's elven comrades. Sitting down in an inn, Danka tells them he has found out the location of a building in Diento where more kidnapped elves were taken. They decide to wait until late at night to storm the building and rescue them. At night, Ark together with Danka and Arian depart, not noticing a ninja is following them. Ark teleports the 3 of them to the roof of the building, and they sneak inside through a window. Going deeper, they are surprised to see corpses in some of the rooms, all of them killed in the same way. Splitting up, each of them searches another part of the building. Entering one of the rooms and finding more corpses, Ark is attacked by the ninja who was following him before. He notices the ninja is a woman with animal ears and a tail. The ninja stops, noticing Ark isn't one of the bandits, and apologizes to him. Presuming Ark came to save the elves, she tells him most of them are imprisoned underground, while 2 are held captive in the Lord's palace. She gives Ark a scroll and leaves through the window, mysteriously telling him they will meet again. Ark opens the scroll and finds a contract for purchasing elf slaves. Rejoining Arian and Danka, the 3 of them notice the contract mentions the Lord of Diento. While they are talking, a bunch of thugs enter and attack them. Arian sets her sword on fire with a spell and burns them, defeating them easily. Finally reaching the underground dungeon, Ark and the others free the imprisoned elves. Ark teleports everyone outside of town. While Danka stays with the rescued elves, Arian and Ark go to the Lord's palace. They noisily break in and alert the guards, but manage to hide in time. They destroy a wall and barge into the Lord's chamber, where they see Triton together with Eudalan and the 2 kidnapped elves. Triton gets angry, but Arian kicks him in the crotch, stopping him. While chasing after a terrified Eudalan, Ark accidentally finds a hidden room. While the 2 kidnapped elves beat up Triton, a group of guards enters the room. Arian defeats them with her flaming sword and tells the 2 elves to go meet with Danka. Ark finds that the hidden room is full of gold, which he decides to take with him. Having teleported outside, Arian thanks Ark and pays him for his mercenary work. Since Ark has no other quests to do right now, Arian invites him to come with her to the elf lands and keep helping her rescue elves kidnapped by other humans. Ark gets excited, but doesn't show it and agrees to go with her. In order to get permission to enter the elf lands, he will have to meet with an elf elder. Ark says he can never remove his helmet, but Arian promises she won't attack him if he shows her his face. Ark removes his helmet, and Arian is shocked by his skeletal appearance. Instead of telling her the truth about getting transported to this world, he tells her he woke up one day in these lands looking like this. She recognizes he isn't actually an undead skeleton and says she trusts him, promising to keep his true appearance a secret. They shake hands, agreeing to continue working together. Some days later in Olav, the capital of Rodan Kingdom, the king called Carlon talks to his sons and daughter. They are discussing the incident at Lord Triton's palace, not knowing the details. Sect, the first prince, claims the elves are responsible for the incident. The Lord of Diento was previously accused of violating the treaty between the humans and the elves by selling elves into slavery. Dakars, the second prince, angrily disagrees, saying Sect shouldn't accuse nobility just because of rumors. The king considers an investigation should be conducted. Uriarna says that if the rumors about Triton are true, the elves could decide to break their trade arrangements with Limble, the only domain that trades with them. If someone from Diento causes the elves to stop trading magical equipment and rune stones with the humans, Rodan Kingdom would be held responsible and tensions would rise. The king orders Uriarna to go to Limble and make arrangements to talk with the elves. Traveling towards the elf lands through a forest, Arian and Ark reach a river, where they set up a camp and spend the night. The next day, back at Olav, Uriarna talks to her attendant Ferna. She is concerned knowing Dakars is involved in the elf trade and Sect knows it too. Sect wants to eliminate Dakars so that he or Uriarna can succeed the throne. Traveling through the forest, Ark and Arian reach a massive gate surrounded by palisades, which leads to the elf settlement of Lalatoya. They approach a house inside a gigantic tree and the elder, a surprisingly young man called Dylan, greets them together with his wife called Glennis. To Ark's surprise, the elder and his wife turn out to be Arian's parents. Entering the house, they talk over tea and dinner later. Arian told her parents all about Ark's real appearance, so he takes off his helmet, and they all eat together peacefully. Hey, thank you for staying all the way till the end. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. It takes only a second, but it means everything to us. Have a great day and see you in the next video.